Horror movies and shit. I'm your host, Jim, and with me as always is
Mark,
Mark. How are you today?
good. I was trying to change my lighting.
Are you good? Do you mean that?
Well, I'm here with you, so not that great, but
Love you too, buddy. Love you too.
Drag him. Drag him.
So, Mark, we have Jack Valentine with us today. Do you want to introduce
that
him?
would be Jake. Jim, put down the
Yeah,
whiskey.
I know. I know. Too much whiskey. Damn it.
I
Excuse me
told
while
you.
I
I
drink.
warned you, Jake.
Jake,
I
listen.
warned you.
We did an interview with an indie author, and I quoted all the wrong books to him. I quoted some other author's books. So calling you Jack is really just
Yeah.
little at this point.
You can call me anything you want.
Ooh, he's so much more agreeable than you, Mark.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't know you.
Well, I mean that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so Mark, you want to introduce our guest?
So first of all, Jake, I have to ask you if you've given any sort of royalties or kudos to Jim. I was reading the synopsis of one of your other short films, and I mean, this is just documenting Jim's life. And let me just quote from IMDb.
Dear God.
A schizophrenic and confused man obsessed with penises will try everything in order to overcome his struggles about his masculinity, leaving nothing but a shadow of the man he once was. And that's really the story of his life. So, like, did you steal that? Like, are you going to give him any credit? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know much about Jim, but I feel like he should answer the question. Do you
Jim,
do you
I
think
mean,
it's relatable to you?
Jim, are you going to like do any libel suit or any defamation or no?
no, as long as I get a producer credit, I'm good. No, that doesn't sound anything like me, Mark. But thank
Oh
you.
yeah. Totally not you at all.
Yeah, totally not me. The schizophrenic part's on the nose, but the rest not so much. Anyway, so we were lucky enough, Jake, for you to share a copy of Defiled with us. Mark, what did you think?
So here's the weird thing, Jake. Right? Like Jim doesn't really watch like a lot of extreme or kind
Mm-hmm.
of like art
Mhm.
house type movies, and there was just like three movies that popped into my head. I'm like, this kind of reminds me of them, but I don't know why. So the first one was Audition. Um,
That made you think of audition?
yeah. And I don't know why. There was Audition, Eraserhead, and Altered States, which are all very different movies, but I don't know why they jumped into my brain. So, Jim, that probably doesn't make
Well,
any sense.
it doesn't make any sense to me because I haven't
Okay,
seen
good.
any of those movies. But what I will say is I've been talking to Jake about it since I've watched it. We've been messaging back and forth on Instagram, and this was an unexpected film. Like everything about it was unexpected for me. It's extremely graphic. You know, it doesn't hold back. It doesn't pull any punches. It shows things you normally don't see in cinema in the United States ever.
Well, yes, probably.
So it
Fairly.
was it was a it was culturally a bit shocking for me. However, that being said, it was beautiful. The way it was shot, the
Mhm.
imagery that it uses, it was gorgeous. It was absolutely a pleasure to watch, um, visually. Extremely uncomfortable with some of the subject matter, and some of it, as I told you, Jake, hit really close to home. I had a little bit of a different take on it than you expected, I think. But essentially, it's a movie about giving up.
Yes.
You succumb to every possible dark thought you have, and you have nothing left.
Yeah, it's about giving up to conformity, to being someone you're not, to you know when you have the social pressure of like people asking you to do a certain thing or putting you aside just because you're not like them. Like, let's just say you see a TikTok trend and everybody
Mhm.
wants to follow it, But if you don't, or if you don't know about the trend, you're like an alien or something.
Right.
So the main character asks himself, what if I fall into conformity? What's the worst that can happen to me?
Hmm.
So the point is that the character did not know that he was going to die. He was just curious about what if. And obviously he died and fell into this dystopic world where capitalism and man take power over people.
Yep. So we have our first YouTube comment, Jake. We talked about this. Do you remember?
Yes,
Would you like me to read it for you?
sure.
Pee pee poo poo.
Oh, so clever. You know, I have I have mixed thoughts about it. Like I get where they're coming from, but I don't agree with that statement.
Fair enough. Harrison Breckbill did say hi. Hello, Harrison.
Hi,
And then
thank you.
somebody recommended a movie that I've never heard of that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Um, but anyway, so back to this one. So I told you, Jake, that especially in that shower breakdown scene, right, where you're seeing him trying to fight back against what I assumed were the voices in his head, the mirror reflection. Um, it was sort of like a conversation that you see a lot, which is like the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other, but you don't have the angel to help you. It's
Exactly.
essentially about having the strength to get yourself out of these deep dark places when all you hear is all the negative stuff. And what happens if you don't do that, right? That's how I took it.
So when I shot this scene, it was a very difficult scene to shot, even though it's very short, because I locked myself in pitch darkness for 2 weeks. No sun or anything. I closed the curtain. I didn't go out. No social media. No phones. No nothing. And I was writing 5 hours a day, nonstop. I am nothing, and I was
Wow.
writing that so to put myself in this deep state of suffering and not being pretty enough, not being good enough, and feeling like shit, and people like having all of these double standards, and that if you want to be liked by someone, you need to do this or that. And so I had to put myself in this very deep state, and I had cameras all over my place 24 hours 7.
Right.
And I just said, whenever I'm ready, the camera will be there in the restroom, and I'll just go in front of the mirror, and when I will have my breakdown, it's going to be it. So this is how I shot it. And so when I was talking to myself, I was really into my character, and I was really sincere about
Hmm.
like how some people might feel, because you every time someone look at their own reflection, they don't see themselves as good as other people see them.
Right.
For instance, some people say, oh, I'm not pretty, I look like shit, and some other people will say, no, you're beautiful, what are you talking about? So it's more about seeing ourselves the same way as others sees us.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to turn off that inner monologue, right?
Right.
Of, and I'm the sort of person where if somebody like gives me a compliment, I find it very hard to take. uh,
Yep.
and but if somebody says something negative, I take it to heart, right? And it's that internal, like, you don't want to be like egotistical, but you also don't want to just shit on yourself all the time.
Hmm.
Right.
And it's trying to find that. And when you are in certain mental states, there is no getting out of it, right? Because
Right.
you just fixate on, I'm terrible, like I don't deserve this, and it's a common experience for, unfortunately, a lot of people. So I think having those sort of um, feelings and thoughts explored in cinema or books, I think is very affirming to a lot of people that they're not alone, right?
Yep.
I
I.
also feel like, sorry if I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to add that it's so easy to discredit yourself and be rude to yourself rather than just like be looking at yourself on the mirror and be like, I look so good today. Like I'm comfortable with how I look today, or I've done such a good job today at work. It's so hard to give yourself compliment, but
Mhm.
it's also very hard to get compliments from others and accept them. But it's so
Yes.
easy to be rude to yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, 100 people could compliment you. It's the same as anything in life, right? It's like reviews or anything. It's like 100 people could compliment you. One person could like rag on you, and
Yep.
you're going to like forget about the 100 people, and you're going to like fixate on that one person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And I think that's, we're not unique, right? Everybody has those inner voices that make you feel like shit. Everybody does. Everybody lies awake at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about, in Mark's case, the baby you kicked last week because you were pissed off, right?
No, no, that was just for fun. I enjoyed
But
it. That's the one
I
good
mean,
memory I have.
but I mean, and that's the thing, right? The one thing I will say, Jake, that I told Mark after I watched him, like, this was like a stylized gay porn film. No offense. It was beautifully shot, but again, in America, we're not used to that level of graphic sex on screen, right? A lot of other countries don't have those hangups, but having been raised in the United States, it was very different for me. And I, again, thought it was beautiful. The visuals were great. I do have some questions about some of the scenes, but I'll save that for an offline conversation. I have
um,
some very specific questions.
okay. I
um,
understand why you say it would be like considered gay porn, because like there's graphic sex involving men,
yep.
uh, but it's so funny the way that I shot and made my film. We can't even call it gay porn because there's so much uncomfortable stuff in there that
Yeah.
you just don't know if it's porn, if it's art, if like what it's supposed to be.
I'll be honest. It's not porn, right? Well, at least for me, because I was not aroused, but I think it was very artful, and it was very, the the graphic nature of it is required for the story you were trying to tell. It wasn't gratuitous. Like, there was legitimately a story behind all of the acts that happened in the film.
It
Mark, I can't tell if you're frozen or thinking.
not thinking. So it kind of reminded me, and Jim was giving me all these warnings because I'm straight. And
I
he's like,
did.
oh, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, like it doesn't bother me. Kind of reminds me of Lars von Trier's Antichrist, right?
Hmm.
Where they have a real penetration sex scene at the start of it, right? But that the backdrop of that scene that it's showing on camera, right? Is that their kid is falling to their death. So there you could have sexual you can have graphic sexual scenes in something, and the point is not the sex, right?
Right.
It's to back up some other thing that's going on.
Yeah.
There is also the shock aspect, which
Mm.
I get. But I think cinema has to like take chances and has to go out there, and I think for horror fans, we really reap the benefits of that more than any other genre. I can't think of
Hmm.
any other genre that pushes the envelope like that. Maybe some dramas, or I don't know, but yeah, that's all I have to
But
say.
again, I don't want anything that I'm saying to be taken as though I'm disparaging in any way, because, like I said, the sex is not the point, right? It's about the vile nature of some of the acts that he's committing because he's given up and he's just surrendered to being consumed, essentially.
Yeah,
And it makes sense to the central point of the movie. So really, it just takes a back seat. It's just, I just wasn't expecting it because I'm not used to that in cinema.
I definitely had influence of Lars von Trier because I really loved the the filmmaking of
Hmm.
his, and the first monologue at at the opening scene was kind of an insight of the house that Jack built. You know, you're like into his the main character's side, the antagonist side, and he's like explaining what's up with his life. Why is he doing what he's doing? What does he think? What So we're kind of in his mind, and I wanted to take that influence to kind of portray the same thing in my own way.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
and
think you did a beautiful job. To
so
be honest.
like, and as it got towards the end, I'm like, okay, so he's like Jesus, right? That's what, that's what I was looking at, right? And
Really?
then I kind of read that you linked to your Facebook kind of explanation to it. I'm like, yeah, uh, I got all that. And then obviously at the end, there's a biblical quote and everything else.
Yep.
And in
And
my head, this Jake, this welcome to my head. So
oh God, I'm sorry, Jake. Please take a shot now.
Okay, okay, I will. I will.
in my head, I'm like, would it have been too on the nose to have it rather than the stumps, like in the palms?
What do you mean, like being fucked in the palms?
Yeah, like he's crucified and they're
I mean, but Mark, that just like that'd be
But
like
but
fucking a donut.
but also we need to see the penis. We need to see the
well, Jim needs
penetration.
to
So
see the penis.
so,
I don't. No.
so let's just say hypothetically you are fucking the palm, and
Yeah.
I'm like this, and so all you see is a butthole, like you see his butt, but you don't
No,
accept.
you could shoot it from the other side with it coming through.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Mm.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming
But
from.
maybe that's just like
Well,
too
I
on
will.
the nose,
I'll be
or three
perfectly
abs,
blunt.
I guess.
The two guys in the arm scene,
Yeah.
very nice.
What do you mean very nice?
From a
What's
physical
nice about it?
perspective, from a physical perspective, like they're
Jim, we're talking
very
about
nice looking
art
guys.
here, and you have to drag us into your weird gutter
I
look.
do, I do.
No, but like I want to know what's about it. What is that the mans are beautiful? Like,
Yes, that's exactly. They're very physically appealing.
okay, so I have to say that for this scene, I hired two porn stars
Oh, nice.
because I needed like people that would be comfortable enough with their own body and sexuality
Hmm.
to be able to do this, but also it was a very specific audition because I didn't want people that think that they were going to do a porn scene, because I wanted people that understand the artistic reflection of it. So I needed people to that was able to see my vision. And it was very respectful when we shot it, because everybody was like very friendly and asking if everybody was comfortable. It was the
Yep.
way that it was made. It was not in a porn context, but yes, the men are beautiful, and I did have a lot of fun shooting this scene, obviously.
It was look from start to finish. Visually, it's amazing. It's an amazing 15-minute experience. Um, eh, Even that monologue in the beginning with the hands rubbing together, it's gorgeous, right? The color palette, everything about it. You put a lot of thought into all the visuals that you use in this film, and it all pays off. I am curious what inspired that harness,
What do you mean?
the chains that he's wearing in the scene with the three guys.
So I'm all about supporting local artists. So
Hmm.
there is a friend of mine, a very nice friend of mine that I want to shout out. His name is Jack Logan Boone, a very very handsome artist. He did the chainmail that I'm wearing in the film.
Beautiful.
So there's that obviously, but there's also the fact about being kept in chains, being seen as a sex object, and
Hmm.
for that to happen, there needed to be BDSM related,
Yep.
like clothing, or
Sure.
any signs of submissions, or any signs that would make people believe that I was submitted to something by
Right.
either it's a person, it's money, or it's a restraint.
Right. Fair enough.
So for the
Mark.
visual style, Jake,
Yes.
I know we talked about Lars von Trier, having some influences. For the visual style, is there any other movies that you kind of were like, oh yeah, that's great. I want to incorporate that into kind of what I'm doing.
I'm gonna have a shot before answering that. So there you go.
Fantastic. There you
Cheers,
go.
guys.
Cheers.
Tintin?
Okay. So
So,
the visual styles, I did not have any inspirations at all. When I wrote the script, I wrote it in, I think, 4 hours. I wrote it. I was in my bed. I was overthinking, and I was in like pitch darkness, and I had insomnia. And I at first the original script was way too dark, and I felt like it was not poetic enough, and it needed more beauty in order to reflect the chaos of it. So I was like, do I add some flowers? Do I had like what do I have? Do I had landscapes? And I was like, no, I can't have landscape because it's about being in the void. So I decided to be original, and like the scene that the character is like mutating in his bed.
mhm,
um you can hear multiple guy moaning, and it's like a crescendo of this is too much, and this is so anxious, there's too much going on, there's sexual imagery, gore imagery, loud noises, flashing lights. This is like a bad trip,
mhm.
and I wanted to have this sort of aesthetic with something pulsing red to represent the nightmare portion of it, and then the black and white version to represent the silence after death.
So I don't know if you're aware, but there's another film called Hypochondriac, right? It's about a gay man that is essentially having a mental breakdown, right?
Okay.
I was so disappointed in this film, and now I get why, because what I was expecting from this film and the way that it was marketed was everything we get in your film, and we don't get that in the other film. All we get is a bunch of dick shots,
Oh, really?
and that's no fun, right? Like I'm not just looking to get to see a guy naked.
Are you
Um,
is the name of the movie called Hippo or Hypochondriac?
Hypochondriac.
Oh no, I don't know about this one.
It's you're. I'll be honest, you're not missing much.
Okay. Okay.
It really is supposed to be like this descent into madness, but it doesn't have near the amount of style and thought put into it that your film does.
So I'm a big fan of. I know it's controversial, but I'm a big fan of Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Hmm.
I was going through a very harrowing depression, and somehow a friend of mine told me, "Do you know about the Holy Mountain?" And I was like,
Hmm.
"No, what is that?" And he says, "Dude, you have to watch that." I know, I just know it's you. And I'm like, "What do you mean it's me?" He was like, esotericism and this type of stuff. This is right up your alley. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give it a watch. So I bought it, sit at home, and this movie changed my life, my perception of life, my perception of perfection. And I just loved the visual style so much that I took some notes to in terms of how to create symbolism or how to create imageries with philosophy. So I tried to take that, and I remember having a chat with Mike Flanagan when I was at Fantasia International Film Festival, because he was there for a Cheval Noir award for his career, and I told him, like, what tip do you have for an aspiring filmmaker? And he said to me, stick to what you know, and that's all I needed to hear. At first, I was like, what do you mean by that? And he said, stick to what you know. So I decided to focus on what I know, and what I know turns out to be suffering, pain, sadness, human understanding, because I grew up in poor conditions and I was forced to become an adult at a very young age. and I realized a lot of communities problem. I had conversations with homeless people, lonely elderly people, people that got bullied, people that were victims of racism. So I knew a lot about the world that was surrounding me. So I decided to make films about the things that I've seen and I've learned from people, because that's what I know, and I can like master my topic to make a film about it. Because I feel like when you make a film about something that you don't know nothing about, it's not going to be authentic, because
Right.
people are like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. Why is he making that film?
Right.
And I think there's also you can feel sometime people will make things, and maybe it's like a studio thing, they don't really want to make it. Like it's not even the message, it's like the passion behind it. You can tell that there's just something. Oh, this is just a job, right?
Right.
Whereas I think if you're, like the Holy Mountain, I mean, Jodorowsky went through hell making that movie, right? And he, an auteur, acting, directing, he did so much in that. And you have to think, right? Although the '70s were very transgressive, um, he probably didn't think he'd be a big like star or anything. But I don't think he wanted to be. I think he wanted to have his vision out there, and that's exactly what he did. And I think whether you like that movie or you don't, um, you can see the passion in that movie from him.
So I'm curious, Jake, with filmmaking for you, is it about telling your story or about dealing with the dark issues you've dealt with in your life? What is it that got you into filmmaking, and what drives you to make films like this?
So I'm just gonna take up my note because I kind of prepared myself for that question.